Hello, everybody. This is Instructor Poole, and I want to talk a little bit about this week's discussion post and the TumbleBooks database as well. So, first, this should be pretty self explanatory, but let's just review the discussion post for this week. You can find the instructions in the discussions forum. Keep in mind that you will have to post before you can see what other people have posted. So before you begin this post, read this week's readings. We're reading Jessamine Ward's. It's actually a chapter and an essay called "Magic Mirrors." Those are linked in our Unit One content, um, and there's a couple of other resources there. And these are all about representation in children's literature. Jessamine Ward's article is about her own experiences as a young reader and as an adult on the topic, and then the other links are about more scientific kind of studies about what's actually offered to children and how important it is to have good representation and inclusivity when it comes to children's literature. You're going to be using those articles as sources for this post, but mainly what you're going to be doing is taking a look at representation in children's literature in the real world. So, what you want to do is you'll want to choose like an age group or a grade level that interests you, and it can be anything from preschool readers and on up through like young adult, high school age readers that you would like. Um, and I'll show you in a minute how to find a link about Lexile scores to do that if you'd like. So what you'll want to do is you have a couple options. First option is to go to either your local library or a bookstore and just take a look at the shelves and what kinds of books are offered for kids in the age group that you have chosen. And think about those offerings when it comes to what Ward writes about and what we read about in the other links when it comes to representation and inclusivity. If you can't make it to a bookstore or a library, or if you would just rather explore some of the database options that we have for children's literature here at Central Carolina, you can use the TumbleBooks database. So what you're going to do to find that, if you're interested in doing it that way, is to log into MyCCTC. You're going to click on the Library tab over here on the left. Then click on Databases A to Z. Now you can't just scroll down and find it, but it's called the TumbleBooks database. So I'm going to click on T to make it a little bit easier. And here is a link to the TumbleBooks database. At this point, it may ask you to log in, and if it does, that's just your MyCCTC username and password. You can log in directly that way. This is the TumbleBooks database, and it is basically a fairly large database of children's books that you can read or download in either ebook format, like for a Kindle or an e-reader like that, or they also have audiobooks and those kind of things as well. So what you'll want to do in order to choose an age group is to click on the Tumble search over here. And there's a couple of different ways you can, if you're looking for a specific book, obviously you can find it that way. But we're going to look for things by age group. So we're going to use something called the Lexile scores. Now, before I click on this, let's talk about Lexile scores. So if you go back to our course site, click on the content link. In Unit 1, if you scroll down, you'll see links to this week's readings. Here's the Jessamine Ward article, and these are the other two articles that are mentioned in the discussion post. We're going to click on the Lexile scores link, and this is going to take us to the Lexile website. And Lexile is essentially just a way of scoring books by readability for certain age groups. And as you can see, it goes all the way from kindergarten on up through 12th grade. So let's say that you're interested in finding books for third graders. These Lexile scores that you see here represent kind of like where third graders should be at a reading level at various points in the year. So, like when they start third grade in the fall, if they are in the 10th percentile, that's a fairly low reading level for eighth grade, they're going to be at the 180 Lexile score level. And the idea would be that they would hopefully be up to 310 by the end of that year. A more advanced third grade reader might be able to read and comprehend books from the 880 level on up through 980, as you see here. So again, the Lexile score is just a way that you can score or grade books, so to speak, based on the reading level. So let's say we're looking for like an average third grader. We're going to be looking from 530 to 645. When we go back to the TumbleBooks database, we're going to search by the Lexile score. So we're going to click the range that we want. I've already forgotten what those numbers were. So so we're looking for like from 530 to 645, basically. So we're going to search in that range. We'll do this one. And click go. And then that is going to bring up a bunch of books. You can scroll through here and see books that fit that grade level. Now, some of these are going to be, this is approximate. This is going to say grades 4 through 7. Remember, what we looked for was a fairly advanced, like middle of the range third grader. So these might go a little bit higher. It'll give you the actual Lexile score here. If you're more familiar with AR points, they'll show you where they are as AR as well. That's what my son's school uses to score books in this way. So what you want to do is just kind of look through the holdings here and do the same thing that you would do as if you were analyzing the offerings at a bookstore or a local library. And again, that discussion post is explained in the discussions forum. And you can see the requirements there in front of you. And if you have any questions about it, please do not hesitate to let me know.